Hi, welcome to Devopsdays Amsterdam online, where we're joined by our speakers to talk about their sessions and about their Devopsdays experience as a whole. My name is Floor Drees, I'm one of the organizers, and with me today, or right now, is Christoph. Hey, Christoph.
Hello.
Hello, so nice of you to join me here. Do you want to quickly tell something about who you are, where you're from?
Yeah, I'm Christoph from Europe.
From Europe.
And Germany. I'm from Berlin. I'm from Berlin, and I'm co-founder and CTO at Mondo. And Mondo is a security company that is doing security, risk, and compliance for companies in a way that is future thinking. And I think we can maybe talk a little bit about that.
Excellent, excellent. Because you did have a security-minded session as well.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about the sort of the premise of the talk?
100%. I think the challenge that we always see is the culture, right? Like people and how they work together. It's very important, and it feels sometimes like security. Like we have this DevSecOps, and then sometimes it's in, sometimes it's not in. So it feels like sometimes we include them, sometimes not. And this is, I think, what we perceive, and that perception is normally not what I see in reality. People actually want to work together, want to do this, but then tooling is a problem. So the tooling does not help people to work together, and that's actually creating more friction than solving. And that's what I will talk about, that it's not just coming from culture and enabling people to work together, but sometimes also shitty tooling is
it's isolating teams.
Is isolating teams, and then even if they want to work together and make things happen, like they can't. And that's actually very annoying in a world where everything is connected and we have hackers to essentially scanning the internet in 5 minutes. So you need to act more quick and then more responsive. And the challenge is that all those requirements is like well known. It's like not rocket science, but still like we can't see this early, and that's very challenging. And people feel frustrated and have fears because there are so many requirements they need to fulfill, and if you don't see it and see the results very, very quickly, it feels like you don't understand it. Well, actually, even security has a long checklist because they can't remember all those things, right?
Yeah.
So it's more about like how you see things, how you discover things of the real world, and then even if you don't fully understand it, you can at least like you have a touch point where you can talk to security experts and like figure it out. And that's something what we focus on, really helping people to build something great together and make the world a little bit more secure.
Oh yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
So just before we were recording, we were talking about a couple of different topics, like maybe security champions, right? So where engineers are that are more security minded, to sort of like include them in the security team a little bit more, because that way, you get to learn from each other a bit more, and maybe you can pre-bake some of that security mind into a project that's just starting.
100%. I think it's like we always say, like diversity is helping a project to be more successful. Like we need to, I think about having different perspectives of the world.
Yeah.
And they're all like having part of it, and there's all right. And the question, like if those team members can't agree, to me, this normally means like something is off and you need to like continue discussing about it. And in the end, like normally you come up with something that makes sense for everyone. And but that discussion needs to happen, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I see, like when we bring in security champions and we see more and more security being involved in the normal application delivery lifecycle.
Yeah.
And they want to be there. It's just like enabling and helping people to get into that model and not having old stereotypes of like, oh, those bad security people, they only
They're
block
so
me.
mean.
They're so mean all the time.
We can't play. They don't let us play.
They're actually not. Like they're super fun people out there, and it's funny like how they use even like attacking internally and use like the capture the flag, for example, is this a fun game like where you essentially attack your infrastructure and you make this hacking a game, right?
Yeah.
So like they're definitely fun people, but like I think it's sometimes the language is a little bit different, and you just need to like get to know each other a little bit better. But like that's we think security people are fun, and we need to like work together.
No, I mean I would agree that security people are a ton of fun, and indeed when you start understanding the different viewpoints and where you're both coming from, then you can figure it out. Yeah. yeah, you mentioned that you did a little bit of the stereotyping and that you got these really like mean pictures for people from security.
Very weird.
While they really just want you to do the right thing, right?
Yes.
Make it easy to do the right thing.
Sometimes they're also frustrated, like but again, comes to me like back down to tooling, not enabling people to see things quickly.
Yeah.
And it's normally a lot of people have always good intentions, and so by default we should expect that. And it's what I see, like in very well-oiled organizations, I see this like where security is always its first mindset is how do I enable the teams to build something securely and not that they become the blocker.
Yeah,
that's still tricky in 2023.
Yes,
unfortunately.
Here we are. Yeah.
Unfortunately, like we would think, like automation is everywhere, but AI is solving all the problems.
Is it though? But okay, that's a separate topic. Yeah, that's not.
So it's definitely interesting. Still stuff to do, but that's amazing.
Very cool. So for people that went to your session, and like we're approaching the end of the week. Then when they come back to work on Monday, like what is the first thing that they can try and do to try and resolve some of this sort of like the big divide?
Yeah, so of course I don't like just telling, oh, this is bad and like the world is going to end.
Yes.
So I'm really focusing on like, okay, here's the challenge, but like let's think about this differently, and I will illustrate this in my talk, and then also give some ideas of how they can make this better. Like a beginning, actually next week it's free. Like they can also use open source tooling for that. So it's actually like so they can start now. And to me, it's more about like switching the mindset a little bit, and it's really not much, but a little bit, and how we collaborate together and how we can work together and how we can see things. And I will give some like ideas.
I love how you're giving like zero spoilers. That's very good. So people need to actually try and check out your talk. So thank you so much for joining me here and answering some of my questions. And I'm looking forward to your session.
Thank you, Flo.